blowing a bit of a hoolie again.
Today we're exploring Loch Awe, a loch scattered with islands and old castles, and we have a rather mixed bag of weather in the forecast too. I'm joined once again by local resident Donny, who knows this loch well and has come along to show me around. Tonight we're hoping to camp on a small island that has some very interesting history and old ruins on it. It won't be an especially long journey, but with gusts of up to 25 knots in the forecast, and new conditions would be less than ideal for paddling at times, but they'd still be manageable on this particular loch. Now, the sun may be shining, but it's still February and the air is pretty chilly as we head east towards some small islands, about a mile or so away. I love mornings like this. It feels great to be out on the water, enjoying the beautiful scenery of the islands and the hills surrounding us. We land on an island called Eilean Beith to take a quick break and stretch our legs. The windy weather means the clouds are moving quickly overhead, creating some occasionally dramatic light on the landscape around us. We return to our boats and paddle a short distance south to nearby Froach Eilean. Perched in a strategically important position, this small island is home to the ruins of a royal castle, once owned by the Scottish King Alexander III, though its history stretches back even further than his time. I sit on the shore, taking in the view across to the loch's eastern side. The ruins beside me, a quiet reminder of the many who have passed here before me. We continue northwards, passing the small cluster of islands once again. Emerging from the shelter of the islands, we finally feel the full force of the wind that's picked up across the water, creating plenty of small waves that bounce against the side of my kayak and pushing my paddle around. We cross to the opposite shore and the small village that sits along the loch's northwestern banks. We pass St. Conan's Kirk, an extraordinary, almost storybook church, its mix of styles born from the imagination of Walter Douglas Campbell. Built in the late 19th century, the baronial Loch Awe Hotel looks out onto the head of the loch here. About half a mile away, Kilchurn Castle finally comes into view, We turn northeast to cross the water to a small unnamed island near it. One of the most photographed castles in Scotland, Kilchurn Castle rises from the water's edge here, its weathered walls stark against the dark water of the loch, a reminder that power here never really lasted, only the landscape did. Surrounded by shifting light and mountains, this now crumbling ruin holds the stories of many centuries. While we'd stopped on the island, the weather had worsened, with occasional sharp squalls passing over. It was clear that the weather was panning out as forecast, and I'm glad that we were prepared for it. We turned southwards and made our way back down towards the islands and our planned destination for the night. As we neared the group of islands, and with around 1.5 miles to go, I caught up with Donny and took a quick break from paddling in the wind.
It's blowing a bit of a hoolie again.
Finally back in some shelter from the wind, we arrived at the island of Inishail, where we planned to spend the night. Delighted to find nobody else around, we landed and began to set up camp. After such a long morning exploring the upper loch, it felt great to put on some warm clothing and take a break in the hazy afternoon sun for some warm drinks. Once we felt suitably warm and rested again, we decided to wander a little further inland. Donny leads us to an old graveyard hidden among the trees. Inishail was once home to a small Augustinian priory and later became this burial place for the Campbells of Glen Orchy. An island may seem an unusual place to bury the dead until you remember that wolves used to roam the surrounding lands here. I wonder who these people were, the old stones that mark their final resting places, slowly weathering in the grass above the waters of the loch. The afternoon light deepens as we return to our campsite and prepare for the cold evening ahead. The wind has dropped slightly and the sun casts long shadows all around us. The small sandy beach here provides a safe place to light a fire, and we quietly enjoy one another's company as the sun sets behind the hills and the fire crackles and warms our feet. Moments like this are what these trips are all about, the worries of the world far behind us. All that matters in this moment is the warmth of the fire, the fresh air, and the fading light. And then the geese started and never really stopped. After what seemed like an eternity of honking from some nearby islands, we awoke to a bitterly cold morning. The temperature had dropped below zero overnight, and everything was a little bit frozen. The low temperatures above the water had created a temperature inversion, and a large bank of low, slowly moving cloud had formed just above us. And then, just to round things off, it snowed. Finally, the air cleared, and we decided to go and visit the Black Isles, a small group of islands just south of our campsite, before heading home, giving our tents a chance to dry out in the morning sun. Although the cold wind was still gusting from time to time, it was a beautiful morning to be out on the water, and I loved just weaving through the islands here. Loch Awe has the remains of many ancient Crannogs, man-made islands where people once lived. It's strange to think of homes built out here, life unfolding on the water centuries before us. After returning to Inishail and retrieving our gear, we start heading back to where we'd launched. As we headed north towards the rounded slopes of Benavori, the morning sun shone brightly all around us. We'd spent the past few days moving through centuries of history, set amidst a landscape that never quite settles, and we'd seen for ourselves just how quickly it can change. And yet, this is only the northern end of Loch Awe. There's a whole stretch of water I've not yet explored. More islands, more castles, more stories, and plenty of reasons to come back.